Dad Pod?
Just a video thing as well.
Doesn't have a name.
Podcast?
Midlife crisis.
Paddy Daddy.
Midlife crisis.
Dadcast?
That's not bad, actually. Yeah.
Hello. And welcome along to this week's Dadcast. All the dads are here. Nathan, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Where are you?
I'm in central Copenhagen.
Oh yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
There's some weird artifact on the wall behind you. What is it?
These, just a couple of dumbbells that I bring everywhere these days.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wanker.
Literally just back from my run down to the Little Mermaid statue.
Which is what, a couple of hundred yards from your room?
Oh, listen, McIntyre. I think for once, myself, Gilroy, and Barry are in quite a good position here. Because, you know, we're about to do a triathlon. How did your triathlon go?
Oh yeah,
We all signed up and paid a huge amount of money to support you for your charity? How did that go for you? Sorry, that you got paid. You got paid to do a triathlon for a charity. How did that go for you?
Well, I'll pull you up on a few things. Firstly, I got paid money, all of which went to charity. Secondly, are you doing a triathlon?
Are we doing a triathlon?
Are you doing a triathlon?
Are we doing a triathlon? We are doing
Yes,
a
we
triathlon.
can.
Are you
Did you-
individually,
did you-
Nathan Murphy,
Yes, we
are
are.
you doing a triathlon?
Will I be running over the finish line on a triathlon? Yes, I will.
So
therefore-
the answer is a big, and I choose my next word very purposely, fat no.
Oh.
You're doing one leg of a triathlon. You're running 5 kilometres.
Jeez, more fat shaming from the McIntyre family.
Where does the young fella get it from?
Let's move on. Dave, how are you? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Adrian, how are you? Welcome.
I'm great, thank you, Chair.
Okay, so I had an idea. Myself and my wife still haven't got a holiday booked for the
Schedule.
summer, or schedule. we
He's delighted with himself.
we had an idea. It was like, and just bear with me, right? So, what if I took 2 weeks off, right, as you would do for 2 weeks holidays, and the first week I stayed home with the kids, and my wife goes away for a week, and the second week my wife stays at home with the kids, and I go away for a week on my own. That sounds like the best 2 week holiday that you could ever have, because you get time with the kids, and you also get time without the kids. Who says no to that?
Well, let's face it, the first week is not a holiday.
Well, but it's fine. It's fine. You know,
The first week will be rewarded by the second week.
It's summertime. Yeah,
Are your kids not in creche?
There was an issue. Who gets to go first?
Yeah, because that's you want to go
We have
second.
to toss a coin. I was like, but I have to go back to work, and you're on your summer holiday. No. We're tossing a
Can I
coin.
just...
Are your kids in creche?
They won't be by that stage.
They probably will be
Why not leave
for that
them in
week.
creche, and then both of you take your 2 weeks off?
What?
You leave them in creche, and then both of you still take your 2 weeks off, and you can actually do stuff together.
So.
But then you don't get
What
time
about the
alone
evenings?
without the kids.
What?
The
won't get
joy
time
of
with
this
that.
is you get a week off.
Yeah, I understand that, but what you should do is leave them in creche, say, for, I don't know how many
Well, so
days.
the eldest is in school, and our school holidays are kicking in anyway. So.
Okay, so you would, because when we were in Spain for the weekend, we were maybe, particularly in that wet day, we were enduring one of our more testing moments.
You put them into creche.
No, we thought to ourselves, why didn't we just take a week off? Well, Nikki in particular, obviously, and just leave the kids in creche, and then we can go and
At home.
Yeah,
All right.
then
Yeah.
we can go somewhere and just leave them maybe overnight for a couple of nights with one set of the grandparents.
Well, that sounds great.
But your idea sounds great
You're
too.
not seriously thinking of that, though.
There's a
I mean,
serious
you're
danger
not
though.
seriously-
I was like, why not?
Because,
what's wrong with it?
okay,
What's wrong
fast
with it?
forward, just on this level alone, fast forward 30 years.
No.
Just hang on a second.
I'll
hang
be
on a second.
dead.
Let
I'll
me
be dead.
finish. You might be dead, but this is not. You are not the point. So hang about and let me finish the point. Fast forward 30 years. I mean, maybe not even 30 years. And young Miss Gilroy, at that point, a middle-aged woman, is sitting on the chaise longue. So,
27.
Miss Gilroy, I mean, that's middle-aged. Miss Gilroy, good to see you today. What's these sessions are going quite well. We're having one a week over the last number of years.
She's on the...
So, let's try and chip away at the root of, where this these issues might be coming from. I mean, I can't think about anything, but I mean, I do remember when we were kids, our parents we'd go on separate holidays. I always thought it was a bit...
No, the kids are on holidays.
weird.
The kids are on holidays with their parents for the 2 weeks. It's great.
They're not. They're like, well, where's... You're gone, and you're gone.
It's fine.
What would you do for your week?
I don't know. I mean, probably go to San Sebastian or go to Sicily.
On your own?
Or... Yeah.
Well, sure, is that not the whole point?
No, you could bring a mate.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
whatever. Whoever's
That's
available.
awesome.
Nobody's going to be available. But
It's the old Seinfeld. Have you seen that episode? So they who is it? Is it must be Seinfeld and his girlfriend for that episode decide that whatever they're going to do. So they go to the cinema and they're like, oh, I want to go and see this movie. And she's like, I want to go and see that movie. And they're like, well, why don't we just... And so they go out for like a bite to eat. And he's like, well, I'd like fast food over here. And she's like, well, I'd like fine dining. Well, maybe we could just... And so for a short period of time, they're like, this is the most... They want to get a good night's sleep. They're like, well, maybe we should just... That's not that. It's the other. And so this is working really well over a short period of time. And then suddenly they realise, like, this relationship is not at all functional. We don't want to spend time in each other's company whatsoever. I'm not suggesting that's the case with you, Ger. I'm just saying that...
Do you treat your wife to those noises as well?
We have to schedule those noises. I don't think it's the healthiest thing for, That's why I'm asking if you're actually
This won't
serious
happen.
about it.
It's an idea that one of you floated, but it won't actually.
It definitely won't happen. It's a great idea. It's a brilliant idea. And the notion that it'll have some kind of long-lasting psychological impact. I mean, how can you tell which of the bad things you've done in your life to your children is going to be the thing that triggers the long-term psychological
Some of them are
impact?
more active than others, right? Like the ones that you do that you just can't help yourself, like Dave lives in the rag. He just can't help it. It's just what he does.
Well, we've established that I can now help myself.
You can, that's true. But this is quite an active decision to go, listen, you do that and I'll do this and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because you'll get some quality time alone with
You
kids.
will come out well out of that, yeah.
That 1 week away from your kids might add a few weeks at the end of your parenting career.
Exactly, yeah.
Your parenting
like Richie
career.
McCaw taking a 6 month sabbatical.
That's exactly what. That's a great
Go
example.
to New York for
I will-
6 months.
I will cite that one.
Like if we were talking about going to New York for 6 months, that's probably a conversation I could get on board with. But over that
On your
short
own?
period of time. Yeah, oh yeah, bloody hell, who would not have that? 6 months in New York.
On your own with no
Yeah,
kids.
they can come over every now and then for a quick visit.
FaceTime, come on.
FaceTime, modern technology.
Ben Foden has done that, hasn't he? That's exactly what he's done. He's now living in New York and his kids are living elsewhere. Is that what you want?
Well, I think that's
I think
a
they're
slightly
separated.
different situation.
If Adrian is willing to spend 6 months in New York without his wife and his kids, I'm pretty sure that marriage won't be one of the more long.
No, it's a sabbatical. It's a Richie McCaw. That's actually a proper...
A sabbatical from your marriage. Is that allowed?
Anyway, lads, I discovered the recipe.
Is that what you're saying? You're allowed that? Is that like you were
It's
on,
in the fanciful territory.
you were on a break type thing?
The man in Copenhagen is the person who's trying to drag us back out of this rabbit hole we've wandered
I
down.
have discovered the recipe of a happy holiday.
Yeah?
All inclusive. It is the way forward.
Really?
Yes. No dragging people to restaurants. No getting annoyed when you've dragged them to the restaurant, then they refuse to eat anything on the menu.
Okay, so enough about your trip to Copenhagen.
20 different options every night. As much ice cream as they can possibly handle. Kids clubs, you name it. Boom. Happy holiday for everyone.
So you were in Lanzarote, but you're back now, just in case any burglars are listening, and have been for about 3 months.
I have been back for a long time.
Yeah. By the time this goes out, you'll even be back from Copenhagen, so it doesn't really matter.
It's fine. Actually, just before I get into my holiday and why it was, I would recommend it. So often when you're out and about, you'll meet friends of the pod of Golf Weekly, which is always a pleasurable experience. I met a lot of Dadcast listeners on my holiday, which I found to be a bit awkward because my family are right there.
They're looking at them. Going, which one's he?
Which one is he? I'm like, oh, this is just like, God damn it. My eldest son is right here, and I'm thinking, what have I said about him?
Is he the
that
quiet
this man
one,
now
or is he the
knows
boisterous
about
one?
This is so. I'm just saying it's maybe an unforeseen effect of the Dadcast that we hadn't previously thought about.
Yeah, and did they make
Anyways.
any jokes about you and your wife and, you know?
No, thankfully, not to my face. I'd say the second they walked away and.
There's your man, he's not getting any.
Yeah.
I hear you keep him in a tight leash.
Yeah. Jesus.
Half an hour later, we're all sitting there still laughing.
It'll never not be funny.
Oh, this is so funny.
Was there alcohol included in the all-inclusive, or was it just your meals?
Everything.
Really?
Everything was included. The place was unbelievable. The amount of choice. So every night there was literally, I would say, 15 different choices for. It was obviously a buffet for main course, but it was totally different food every single night. Same for breakfast, same for lunch. There was like different restaurants you could book into.
Were you just there for a
Also
week?
included 10 days.
Okay, and so how many was it? Was it just the 5 of you, or did you bring help?
No, just the 5 of us.
All right.
So they had the first couple of days now where I was getting stressed because there was a kids club twice a day for 2 hours that they went to the first morning and decided they weren't going back, to which I obviously resorted to bribery straight away. And the cheap Pokemon cards available in Spain were my biggest assets. So I literally bribed my children to go back by promising to buy them Pokemon cards if they went in. And there was a baby club where they would take the baby for 2 hours.
Wow.
So she was delighted. And it was, so they'd only take, I think it was 4 children at a time in the baby club, and there was 2 minders. So there was somebody always playing with her. So she seemed happy out. And then they've an adults only area.
Hey.
Which is basically not what it
Do you
sounds
have
like.
to schedule? Do you have to book that in? What's the?
Pretty much. But it's basically it's an area away. It's an area away.
That's like we're going to swing in.
That's where he met that's where he met the Dadcast listeners in the swingers club.
Yeah. we're all in the same spot. There's a Dadcast nod now of but basically with its own bar, its own swimming pools, jacuzzi, everything. Only adults, and it's like you get your kids, all of them into kids club at the same time. You have an hour and a half, 2 hours in there. It's like, actually feels like a holiday, and then you're back to the madness again.
Where were you exactly? If it's that good, it deserves a shout out.
It's called Gran Castillo Tagoro. It's in just near Playa Blanca.
Grand swingero.
Where do you?
No, it was literally perfect. Once the kids started to make a few little mates and things like that, they were mad keen to go to kids club. Now they did have a PlayStation in the kids club.
Oh yeah.
Which was then sort of a debate of do we want the lads suddenly were mad keen to go every day to play FIFA, even though they have no idea how to play FIFA. But from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, it was about 30 degrees. So you're kind of going,
They're not going to be outside anyway.
Need to get them out of the sun either way. And everybody comes back at 4 o'clock refreshed and happy and
Parents
ready
drunk.
for the evening. Now you do after, I was for the first 2 days when it came to desserts and stuff, like losing my mind. And eventually you just have to go,
Fuck
there's
it.
no point fighting this.
Yeah.
There's no point. They're on their holidays. It's 2 weeks. They're running around for 12 hours all day. Fuck it. Let them at it.
Yeah. Was it expensive?
Well, I was trying to figure. I think it was about 1,800 quid for the 5 of us
Jesus, that's not bad.
for 10 days. Now that
doesn't
was
include-
just for the hotel.
Right.
That didn't include flights.
Okay.
But I still think.
But
that's
all your
not bad
alcohol and
for-
food.
All your alcohol.
That's incredible.
All your alcohol. Now,
How many cocktails did you manage to put away in those 2 hour windows every
32.
afternoon? 1,800 quid's worth.
One of the weird things about it is I never saw one drunk person the entire time I was there.
That's because you were pissed.
It's like in poker, is it? There's nobody else here drunk at all.
What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, because everyone's there with kids. It's like at about 10:30 at night, after the kiddies disco, the bingo, and the Michael Jackson tribute act, it all starts to wind down. But so you're it was like a glass of wine at lunch, maybe 2 gin and tonics if you could squeeze it in during the 2 hour window while the kids were at kids club, and then like a bit of wine in the evening. And that was there didn't seem to be any crazy drinking, but like you can get Jack Daniels and Coke, gin and tonic, all included, every single bit of drink. I should be getting a discount next year for this.
Right.
Well, I'll be
We
looking
should
at
do.
it. We
No, it is.
had
It's
decided
like-
to abandon the holidays for maybe 3 or 4 years, just the 4 of us. And we were half board when we were away 2 weeks ago. And if you are on site for the entire 10 days, I'd be worried a little bit of cabin fever might set in. Going back down to that same buffet, because was it not madness at times at dinner? the buffet.
No,
we felt it was absolute chaos.
No.
Breakfast and lunch, it was a perfect setup. And while the food was amazing, and as you said, there was a huge variety if there was food for everybody, regardless of what their palate was. But we felt the one time we ate dinner there was just carnage.
In what way? For the
That
kids,
was just
or actually
there
trying
was
to get
so
the food?
many people there. There was just waiters falling over each other, people shoveling massive trays and trolleys in and out. It was so loud as well. You could barely hear yourself speak.
No, it is loud, but no, definitely it was very straightforward to get your food. And they also had, was it 2 restaurants? So they had an Italian restaurant and an Asian restaurant that you could book into separately. That was also included.
All right.
So, and the Italian restaurant was, again, it was a buffet for your starter and dessert, but you'd actually order your pizza or your pasta. And
that sounds great.
For once, your food will be brought to you. And the Asian restaurant was the same. It was an actual restaurant, but again, all included. Every single person we met said they were coming back again next year. Now, we'd never done the all-inclusive. I didn't know really that much about it. Spoke to people who'd been to Portugal to do all-inclusive, and all of them thought this was far, far ahead of, in terms of the options and the choice. And
who did you fly out
just
with?
how good the food was. Aer Lingus.
All right.
So...
Jesus, suddenly our capacity to sign up a sponsor here is kind of like...
Oh, the only downside obviously I'm going to go for Dublin Airport here. It's their issue. So we chose the go early on a Saturday morning, come back late on a Tuesday night, because we got sort of 2 extra days out of it that way. So our flight home wasn't until 9:00 on Tuesday night. Was delayed for almost an hour, which meant we didn't leave Lanzarote till 10:00. Didn't arrive home until 2:15.
Oh God.
The kids were fine on the flight, both over and back. The oldest lad never slept at all. Was still wide awake at 2:00, looking out the window. The baby was sort of entertaining everyone and then conked out. But this new pier they have at Dublin Airport.
No.
Anybody?
A new pier.
McIntyre?
No, what do you mean a new pier?
Where they park the planes.
All right.
So it's away from Terminal 2. So you said a gate. So you have to go. So they basically pull up, you come off the plane, you get onto a bus, and then they bring you back to the new terminal. So this is what they did at 2:15 in the pissing rain. So eventually we got home at 4:00 and was slightly regretting maybe not just getting the midday flight home.
Yeah. I think that the extra days are great when you're old and you can sit there boozing all day, but you've got to keep the kids entertained, and then they get home late, and then they're the Antichrist for 2 days afterwards.
Yeah, the extra day is great going out. You get that day, you're there, you're landing on site at 1 p.m. and you've got a day there. But no, you want to be getting out of there early.
Well, even the extra day coming back is of no benefit, because we're there, so the kids are like, you're not going in the pool. You're not going in the pool. We won't be able to dry you. We won't have all the wet clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't really,
not a fan of that.
Really worth it. No. So I definitely recommend it. Because I would have been very much wary of a foreign holiday with 3 young kids and that sort of boredom kicking in. We hired bikes one day and cycled down to the village and hired a car for a day and went up to the volcano.
Oh yeah.
Which again, it's also dirt cheap. Hired a car for 30 quid for the day, drove up to the volcano, drove to some of the beaches. So it's definitely recommend it.
This is a totally boring functional question. What about car seats and all that shite?
Yeah, no, all that were included. In fact, we were kind of stupid in that we booked a transfer from the airport, which was like 100 quid there and back, whereas you could have hired a car for the entire week for 120 quid.
Right.
Car seats, insurance, everything included, which probably would have made more sense. But anyway, that was exciting.
It's been quite a boring but incredibly informative start to the podcast. And I for one, Nathan, I'm glad I listened, and I'm going to take what you've said on board.
Yeah.
What were you doing with yourselves to continue maybe it wasn't boring. What were you doing with yourselves?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
When the lads were off in the kids' clubs?
Sitting by the pool drinking.
Well, that's what I'm asking him. What were you doing?
Literally.
What else are you going to do?
That's what we were... this is kind of what we spoke about before the holiday of, you sort of just have to accept that your entire holiday revolves around your kids. And now, because the lads are a bit older, they were able to stay up till 10:30. But you're still, you're going to bed at 10:30 every night. You're not out partying at any stage. And when, for I'd say 4 or 5 days, we managed to get them all to the kids club at the same time. Yeah, literally just sat around the pool and had a couple of drinks.
And we all in one room?
Yes. Yes.
That's the tough part. Where you're pretty much on top of each other for Well, 10 days.
Or not.
You lads are a disgrace. There's a line, and you boys just fell over it. One bedroom, was it? Or is everybody else out maybe on a sofa bed?
No, actually, it's the one thing we'd probably do, and if we go back, because the baby be up and running next year, we'd get a bit, like, we spoke to people who had duplexes and they had special children's rooms, which probably a bit more expensive, but definitely we just about got away with it. We, like, shoved the baby down the hall in the cot where she was kind of out of sight. But
What do you mean you shoved it down the hall?
Put the cot down the hall.
Put the cot down the hall where it was dark. The hall when you come into the room.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the hall out in the hotel. What the hell? What planet are you on? Jesus Christ.
That's two incredibly odd questions you've asked in a row.
Fair enough.
It's a very, very safe place, so it would have been fine. Yeah, but I think you can get the bigger rooms, and which you'd probably need, but definitely for like kids. I don't know, maybe Adrian's kids would be definitely too young, but I'd say Jer, your kids, that sort of age, would absolutely love it.
All right.
It's also all, and I don't know how many English people you've listening. It's really all Irish. Who are there? No, in a good way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he loves that. He loves that
Because they.
you that guy. You're that guy. Like he loves
Male
that
people.
shit.
It was male people.
Are you the guy that?
Didn't mean any male people. Very upsetting.
But you were amongst your people.
I thought it was going to be very stereotypical and go, no like loud drunk English people there.
How many times a day were you recognised?
By his kids.
Are you suggesting that this is my entire reason for joining the holiday?
Absolutely.
Not many, Adrian. Not many.
So there were times every day.
Not every day.
Look at him. This is exactly the route, by the way. I think we can discount everything he said up to this point.
No. It's fair enough. But it's nice to go on holidays and not hear too many Irish voices, though, right? Sometimes that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
No?
It's never been something I've thought about.
I would definitely be in that.
Way.
Like, you want to. I mean, but look, maybe it's slightly different.
If you're going to a place like this, you're going to hear either Irish voices or English voices.
Fair enough. Okay. Dave, we were just on the way in here, and he was talking about his plans for holidays for later in the summer. He talked about retiring, going on holidays with just the four of them. So what's happening? What was the little nugget you dropped there a little bit earlier?
There's nothing too secret involved. Nikki's taking the boys away for a couple of weeks.
On her own?
Well, her parents are going as well, and the neighbours and their kids.
Okay, that's different. I thought you were like, no, it's too much work when it's just the four of us, so I'm sending the three of them away.
But I have to be at home at weekends for work. So I think it's about 14 days they're gone, and I'll be there for maybe the middle 5 or 6. So I'll have 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 nights to myself either side of that.
Oh, wow.
Which
what are you going to do?
I don't know. Like, what does one do? What does a blind man do when he gets a sight back? The world is my oyster.
The laptop, I say, is getting opened.
To find out things to do.
Absolutely.
Good point, Dana. Good point.
You're essentially doing like the thing that he was just talking about at the very start, except for you're not even doing that. You're like just sending your wife off. It's like it's that idea.
As I've said, there's plenty of backup.
I know it's a big family gathering. In
and I would say this wasn't my idea. It was Nikki's idea because she knew the neighbours are going. She's quite close to them. My boys they get on so well with their kids, and then Nikki's parents decided they were going to go, and it was always known I couldn't go away for any span of time that spanned a weekend because there's a lot of gas to be covered. So I'm going to go and play a bit of golf. I'm going to get away for a couple of days, maybe play some golf.
Nice. Where are you? Like actually going to travel somewhere?
Kerry.
All right.
Yeah, and it'll be great. I haven't that much outside of maybe junkets, which we've all been on. I'm looking at you specifically, Ger, over the last few years, where you might get 3 or 4 nights away on your own with a bunch of other journalists.
Like, your man is in Copenhagen at this minute. He's like living and breathing embodiment of what you're talking about.
But you've been over there all week, Nathan.
There aren't many nights, consecutive nights, where you can remember where you've been away from the family. Like a full night's sleep every night. Amazing.
Yeah.
Getting up as late as you want.
Lovely.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So they're going to camp to a campsite?
Yeah. But it's meant to be an amazing spot. I will be there for like 5 nights, so I'll be able to report on that.
Last year?
As ably as Nathan has on his holiday there.
Did they book it last year type thing?
No, it was definitely done in 2019, the booking of it, I would say.
Are they going in Ireland?
No, France, Western France,
Ah.
La Rochelle area.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So no, I'm actually really looking forward to going away, and I know that I will miss the lads and Nicky terribly for portions of it.
10 minutes a day.
At least a few minutes a day.
No, I'm over it. It's like,
I wonder what's on Netflix. Right.
No, what you do when you are away for a day or two, you do miss them.
True, yeah.
Particularly if it's off this stint where you've spent an awful lot of time with them. And I'm spending an awful lot of time with them at the moment.
I find you can go from like having parenting fatigue in one moment to then going, if you're going away to Copenhagen or somewhere, and then like literally 5 minutes later when you're gone, you're like, oh, I really missed them now.
Yeah.
Like that
It
quickly.
would be like that. Well, I remember the day we got back from Spain, which is 2 weeks ago now, they were in creche the following day. And I woke up that morning going, thank God. I'm going to drop them off at 9:15. I don't have to see them at 4:15. And it must have been about 11:30 when I was going, I wonder what they're doing now. Geez, I might go and get them a bit earlier today. And I rocked up at about 4:45 that afternoon just to get them, see them and do
And
something.
instantly regretted it.
No, not at all. They're a funny bunch that way, kids, aren't they?
yeah, well, I don't know. So the bit where they're killing each other constantly all the time, that wears you down after a period. You're like, off you go. I don't care if like.
Isn't it funny how the instinct
tonight.
is like? So we find with like whatever it is, 2 years and 3 or 4 months and 7 months, that like the instinct of the older one is to not like the younger one. The younger one's kind of obsessed with him, but he's like doesn't want to give her any toys. Like we'll give them to her once it's explained to him this is something he needs to do. Like she shouldn't get any attention. There's like it's like this instinct of you're coming and shitting all over my parade.
Yeah.
And yet the younger child, I think they all suffer from a case of Stockholm syndrome. They all still look up to their older
Like,
child, and they think they're great, and they can't spend enough time with them. And all they want is their attention and their approval, despite the fact that they've been treated like a piece of dirt for much of the day, every day.
Best describes the exact relationship here.
It's very odd.
She will look around and go, like if he does a little jump, she will crack herself laughing. Like it's this one-way traffic, and your man is like, no, they're both my tractors. Why would I be giving one to her?
Oh, somebody described it once. The first child, when the second child comes, it's like bringing another wife home. Basically, it's like you can imagine the response of your wife. You brought another wife home. Like, and that's the instinct that they
have to get on with it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, this is happening, so she's not leaving now.
We're not taking her back. It's like that's a good description.
And they use them as they please. So they're there to play with when they wish. Yeah.
He's still on the previous
what sort of a mood are you in this morning?
Come on, it was funny.
But then as soon as they're bored of them,
Yeah.
either if something better comes along, well, they just move on to that. Or if they're bored of what they're currently doing and something better hasn't come along, well, then they just start pushing them around and lashing out and snatching stuff out of their hands. And it's a trying ordeal when it gets to that level, because especially if it's happening all the time.
Yeah, and it is. The black sack thing came up again. Lads, excuse the typos. It's very early. 5:56 a.m. this was sent. Listening to the desperate plea for a substitute for the naughty step / black bags, and I wanted to tell you about the cubes. We're all ears. We have a 3 and a 4-year-old and use cubes to attempt to manage behaviour. Simple system. They both have a glass and they get a cube, same size as Lego, for good behaviour, sleeping through the night, sharing, finishing their dinner, etc. And they lose one for bad behaviour. When the glass is full, they get a prize. Key to the cube success is the prize must be tangible, and they need to know what the prize is in advance, meaning there is instant gratification / punishment for getting or losing a cube. I hope it helps, says Rob. So,
How do you... Sorry, hope I didn't tune out there. How do they actually get the prize in the end? The glass has to be full.
Yeah.
So when it's full, okay.
Yeah, you
so
did tune out.
It's ready. It's been locked away, and as soon as that glass is
I like
topped,
that idea. I have to say it's quite
the
measured,
present
isn't it?
comes
It's
out.
like
It is, yeah.
It's stages of stuff that, like, in that moment, losing that block isn't a catastrophe for the child, but there's a little bit of a sort of punishment for it that they understand. I actually kind of like that, yeah.
Well, I'm happy to report that as we are recording now, my eldest is in full possession of all of his toys, costumes, and
Everything back.
Lego pieces.
Uh-huh.
And yesterday I brought them shopping, full grocery shop, and they were amazing going around the shop. And then when I was standing at the checkout, one of those checkouts whereby the person in front of you who has an enormous shop to get through has realised that he's forgotten his wallet. And
have you already put your stuff on the thing?
Well, whatever space was left, a little portion at the end of it. So then he apologises, and the cashier, I don't know, is that what you call the person working in the shop, said, look, it's grand, you go on, I'll help you. Paul puts whatever we've already put through into your bags, you run out of the car park, get your wallet. He was gone 10 minutes, right? And the two lads are there, and they went over and they sat on this railing, and I put on some kind of a nature documentary on YouTube, and the older guy brought the younger guy through the documentary. I could see him pointing again, and this is happening now. And I just said to the lady sitting at the till, I said, my two children have decided that now is the time to show me how unbelievably angelic they can be. And it was so timely.
That's great.
It's no use when there's loads of other stuff going on, and if you were bold now, it actually wouldn't matter. It was the most timely piece of good behaviour, to the point where I sat him down, the older guy on the way out. I said, whenever you're bold, I take stuff away from you. That's only fair if it's two-way, and that when you're incredibly good, you get something. Brought the two of them right up to the toy shop. They could pick out whatever toy they wanted.
Wow.
Because it was just unbelievably good behaviour. Now, I hope he remembers that. Will he?
The next time he'll be looking at you, he'll be like, oh, hey, little brother, look around.
I don't care.
He did that naturally, and now he's like,
whether this was sincere or contrived, it makes absolutely no
what I'm saying was it was sincere now. But the next time,
it'll be
free shit.
But the result will be the same.
Yeah, whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
The outcome is the same.
So I just thought, if for any period of this podcast that I might whine about my kids, yesterday they were unbelievably good.
Well, that's great.
Dave blows us away once again on the podcast with incredible parenting.
We
turned a corner. Do you feel you've turned a corner?
It took me a while to realise how superior I was to the three of you.
No, I mean, you should have realised that very quickly.
And now that you've helped me get there, I thank you.
But I'm asking, do you feel you've turned a corner?
No. Every day it brings its own shares of...
You're taking one day at a time.
I'm playing every game as it comes.
Yeah, it feels to me like I'm not saying that in any facetious way. I actually think it sounds like as if you've turned a corner.
Yet it still sounds facetious.
That part I can't help, but the sentiment is genuine.
There was another tweet, wasn't there, about the black bags from a guy who works in a bank.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
He said that, let me find it now, it was, I must have laid out an awful lot of terms and conditions as regards what it took to get the toys back. But Keith McCormick has said, I work in a bank, we have less terms and conditions than Dave McIntyre does with his kids' toy return. So, but look, the terms and conditions aren't laid out very clearly, and it's not in small print. Everybody knows exactly what the situation is. Everybody knows what the process is.
Ooh, this is a good one. Dadcast pod from Pete Glavy. Is there such a thing as pink and blue jobs? Asking for a friend. Well, actually, he doesn't know I'm asking.
As in, boys do this, girls do that?
Yeah, no is the answer.
No.
I wouldn't have thought so.
No, certainly not allowed.
Funny, the eldest lad, he is mad for jobs around the house. I've never seen a man so mad for work. Give him anything. The Hoover is the latest thing he's obsessed with.
He had them with the Hoover, great.
And what he used to do was one of those Hoovers with a little trigger on the front of it. So he used to go around and he'd randomly go off in his hand and he'd get a bit of a fright and then he'd drop and pick it up. But he'd never actually be doing any hoovering. So I took him aside last week and I showed him a little load of piles of little dirt. And so it was really exciting because we went around cleaning up the dirt. And now he's literally going around hoovering the house.
Great.
With the full Hoover.
That's class.
That's maybe at least twice as big as him.
A big breakthrough.
That's brilliant. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to continue. He does it, I'm assuming, because once he does a little bit of work, we're all kind of, this is giving him, we're not quite taking him down to the toy shop, but certainly giving him lots of...
What about cleaning the toilet?
Hasn't quite got into that yet. Hasn't quite got into the...
You're going to have to introduce him to that at some point, though, because, there's like a...
Well, we're starting to potty train soon.
We have a date set for us.
Yeah.
You have a date set?
What date's today? I think it starts in about 8 days' time.
And I think it starts in about 8 days. There's never been more McIntyre.
I can't remember what date it was. It's around the 15th or 16th.
So are you just blocking off time for yourselves?
Yeah, taking them out of crash and everything.
Yeah, in the house.
Yeah.
Lock the door.
Yeah. Turn away everybody and just hope for the best.
Well, we're looking forward to the poo escapades of the...
Escapades?
Pooscapades?
That's better.
This is your youngest?
Yeah.
All right, well, so there'll be no more nappies in the house.
I know. I'm just tired of changing nappies. Because when they get to 2.5, 3, like he's 3 in November, so he's pretty much exactly 2.5, a little over. Like they're proper big
Human
person
shits.
poos.
Yeah.
Like they're just disgusting.
Isn't it true though that, and I've no experience of this, so by
goes
all
all
means,
over them.
please.
Huh?
It goes all over.
That's I'd be
Everywhere,
thinking.
yeah.
But I mean,
How
like,
does he cover his scrotum and shit?
I don't know, but
at
getting
least-
it out of that is
but at
fucking
least-
hard.
I don't understand it.
at least when they've the nappy on, right? You take the nappy off, you discard that, you clean the area, and that's job done. Now suddenly there's no nappy. There is a lot of mess on clothes, all over them. I'm assuming probably.
No,
Oh, no,
No. They're going to be naked for a lot of it.
Sorry, now they shit in your kitchen,
Yeah.
and you cheer them on as they do it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a great thing
But
that
it's
there's
an
a
actual
human being
proper-
squatting while you eat in your kitchen having a shit, and you're like, oh, this is great and natural.
And if it does hit the floor as opposed to the potty or any other potty training utensil that you might be using, it's just a very easy cleanup job.
Is there any trick to?
Because it's just a sausage that drops there and you get rid of it, unlike what it is when he's been carrying it around with him for an hour
That's
and
right.
has been lying
Red
down
arse
and
on him,
sitting
yeah.
down and rolling around and jumping around, and it is just everywhere.
Is there any?
Go on.
We've bought some potties, but is there any recommendation of the type of potty you should have? Just any old thing?
Yeah, any other thing. Like, the same one used our first 2 finds. Fine.
Do lads
Who
not
cares?
sort of? Does the Mickey not put the wee everywhere?
I mean, there's generally like a thing to stop that.
There's a little thing in the front.
Plus you can
some of
kinda
them. Some
supervise it and make sure it's pointed where it needs to be pointed.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Now, I know of somebody who brought the potty everywhere. We didn't do it. We're definitely
You
doing
can
it.
get a portable potty.
What do you mean?
As in, like, the potty's not a small enough thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so you carry it.
You bring it with you, put it in
The
the car
shops.
if you're going to the beach,
Put it in
or
your
the
handbag.
shops, or say if his older brother is down at GA training and you have to bring him out there for the hour and a half, 2 hours, it's in the car, and he doesn't just, the thing is, don't put pull-ups on them when you have to leave the house before they're fully trained.
Because they get into the pull-ups.
Exactly, it
habit.
becomes an excuse then, and you basically have to resort to that every time you go anywhere. So this person brought the potty with them, so they might be out in
It
a gap
worked.
hitch, and they
Yeah.
you need to go, do you? Right, here we go, run back to the car, get the potty out.
Right.
And everything is done with the potty. So I'm going to try that this time around.
Okay.
That's definitely one of the big learnings, I think, from round one. The other one was the introduction of a pull-up, which was a huge mistake, and we
Yeah.
paid dearly for it.
Go on, what's that?
Well, things didn't happen as seamlessly as it does for everybody. And we introduced a pull-up to try and help the process along, but then that's became...
That's a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't use pull-ups. Is that the?
Not sure on the day. No, because then
Right.
it's just like a crutch then, and it's very hard to break. So
Big shitty crutch.
I mean, when you think about it, like, the ability to not have to worry about going and stopping off is great. So if you don't have to, you'll just go, yeah, happy days.
Yeah.
it definitely takes the responsibility away from them.
You've been used to it all your life, so what's the difference? Like, I don't care. Someone's got to come along and clean this mess up, and it won't be me.
I'll be happy to report on how we get on.
Right, that is our lot this week.
Did we lose Nathan at some
we
point?
did. He disappeared in
There's a
Copenhagen.
heavy draw on his internet. Is that the?
Well,
what we're saying there?
those 4 kilo dumbbells weren't going to lift themselves.
Zing. That's Zing from Dave McIntyre. We'll be back next week at around about the same time or wherever it is and whenever it is that this actually drops, hopefully on Tuesday if I get my shit together. See you, bye.